Business correspondence and reporting is to be written in only and only English form, and Hindi medium is not allowed in this subject. So it is very important to have the knowledge of vocabulary of the English language. Now I would like to point out that a lot of students face difficulties in writing good essays, even simple paragraphs. They face a lot of difficulties. They have quite many ideas in their mind, but if I tell them to write it down in a paragraph, in an essay, they are not very sure of how to write. Now there are many reasons why this is happening. The very important reason being lack of vocabulary of the language. So as we would be writing everything in the English language, we have to increase our vocabulary for the English language. In business correspondence and reporting, you will be tested on a lot of topics such as précis writing, such as resume writing, report writing, article writing, notice writing, circular writing. So you have to have a knowledge of writing as well. Writing is a complex tool. There are many reasons why students are unable to write well. The first reason being, yes, which I said, lack of vocabulary, a lot of grammatical errors. Yes, a lot of students who are not very versed with the language make a lot of grammatical errors, which is the reason why the invigilators or the teachers who correct your papers find that you are not very well versed with the language. Third, unable to understand the topic on which you have to write very well. What happens is, when you read the topic that is given in your paper on which you have to write, you do not understand exactly what is the teacher asking for, and you write about something which you have misunderstood about the topic. So do not worry, we have a chapter in our curriculum, that is chapter 6, Introduction to Basics of Writing, wherein you will learn a lot of skills on how you can write very well and score very good marks. So it is very important to first know the language, learn the basics of writing in that language, so that the reader, that is in your case the invigilator, the teacher who will check your papers, should know what you are trying to communicate in that piece of writing which you have written in the exam. So it is very important to write in such a manner that the reader is able to understand what you want to communicate. He should not misunderstand your ideas. Now you must be thinking, why is it all taught to you? You are giving exams for chartered accountancy. You will become the future CAs of our country, future chartered accountants of our country, and that is a matter of pride for all of us. You will work in big companies, MNCs, you might start your own firm. Now a lot of communication will happen in writing. In documents, in circulars, in notices, you will be using all these things in your firm as well. You have also learned about formal communication. Now, as you will be working in good companies, firms, you will have formal communication with one another. You must have good skills in writing so that you are able to communicate within the organization very well. So let's start with the introduction to basics of writing. So after you complete this chapter, you will be able to understand the basic requirements of writing. That is what I told you earlier. Students should be able to write appropriately and effectively. By the term appropriately, we mean in a manner that is suitable or proper in the circumstances, and effectively means in such a manner as to achieve the desired result. Here the desired result would be what? When you write an essay in the exam, you want the teacher to understand your ideas, read it, appreciate it, and give you good marks. So you have to write it in such a manner that it is effective. Next, familiarize the students with various styles of writing. Here it will be of. Next, realize importance of learning business writing. As I told you earlier, you will be working in companies, in MNCs, in big firms, maybe abroad. So you have to learn how to write while you're working in an organization. That refers to business writing. Very, very corporate, very, very formal communication. So while working on this chapter, what we'll do, we'll understand the need to develop writing skills. I think by now you have understood that it is very, very important to write. Understand steps in writing and organizing content logically and systematically. Now when you are writing, you just cannot get ideas and you just cannot start writing. You have to organize your ideas. Very, very important. You have to first think about the ideas. You have to jot it down. You have to organize it. Now when you watch a movie, let's say you watch a movie, You do not appreciate a movie that goes haywire. Some scene is happening and then some other scene is happening which is not related, and then it comes back to the first scene, and you do not understand the movie plot very nicely. So you do not appreciate such a movie. Now, a good movie or a good book refers to what? Where the incidents are written in a very chronological manner, in a very systematic and in a logical manner, so that the reader or the viewer who is watching the movie or the reader who is reading the book is able to understand the incidents and remember it while he is reading more, so that he can connect it. Learn strategies to organize content. Now, whatever ideas you are having, you have to write it, you have to organize it so that you write a good piece. So those strategies also you will come to know. Next, you will comprehend the various styles of writing. Again, here it will be off. Comprehend means to grasp, to mentally grasp, to understand. So you will be able to understand the various styles of writing. Realize importance of learning business writing, that we've already discussed. Write well in all styles. So basically, Institute wants you to learn every kind of writing and excel at it. Now come to the introduction. Language has 4 basic components: listening, speaking, reading and writing. Now when a child is born, he is an infant. He can only hear. He cannot speak, he cannot write, he cannot read. He can just hear. So he can just hear whatever his mother says, his brother says, his father says. He hears and he tries to speak. So first of all, he starts listening. Then slowly he starts speaking as well. He says ma, papa. He starts saying those words. Then slowly, when he gets to 1 year old, 2 year old, he becomes 1, 2 year old, he starts reading as well. They get admitted into those primary schools, Montessori schools, where they start writing also. So this is how gradually the language is taught to a child. First listening, then speaking, then reading and then writing. See, the same thing is written here. A child first listens to the conversations around him or her and then repeats the sounds and words which have been learned from the environment. Thus, the next step is learning to speak. Thereafter, the child begins to recognize alphabets in the words and starts to read A, B, C, D. We teach them and they start reading also and writing also. The last skill to be mastered is that of writing. Beginning from writing alphabets, then words, moving on to sentences, paragraphs, and finally producing complete written compositions on their own. Now, when the child starts writing, you do not teach them essay writing and paragraph writing and everything. That comes gradually. So, when a person starts growing in their age, they start learning a lot of things. They start learning first the alphabets, then sentences, then compositions. And I personally think that a person can go on and on and on in learning new varieties of writing. He can go on improving his writing skills. The process takes many years for the individual to master. So do not worry, you will not take many years, but at least for the basics, you will be able to complete it in 4 to 5 months. The reason is that writing is a complex activity that requires vast vocabulary. First of all, I told you, it requires a good vocabulary. Now, when you are talking in your own vernacular language, you know a lot of words because you've heard them, you've read them, you talk in vernacular language in your daily life. So, you know about a lot of words. Now, when it comes to English, if you start reading more in English, talking more, conversing with people in English, you'll start having a knowledge of English vocabulary as well. Knowledge of varied sentence structures and correct grammatical usage. This is exactly what I told you. You need to have good vocabulary skills, you need to have a lot of sentence structure knowledge, and also you need to have correct grammatical usage. Presenting content in a logical and sequential manner is another essential aspect of writing, so that it is easier for the reader to understand your piece. Multiple areas of brain are used in creating text, organizing words and sentences sequentially so that they make sense to the reader. Writing is a skill that needs to be honed and developed as. Now, what do you mean by honed? Honed means to be perfected, to excel in that. It is an important medium of communication used to express ideas, opinions and exchange information. We know that very well. Letters, circulars, notices, all are handwritten. It is essential to content development and composing any kind of text. For that, you need to write well. Official and personal records are maintained in the written form. Now, a lot of documentation are in the written form, so that they can be preserved for later use. So writing skills will be required there also. Creative writing brings to us valuable fiction and non-fiction work in form of novels, short stories, etc. Now you read short stories, you read novels, everything is what? Written. It is the source of earning a livelihood for many people. Many people are writers. Writing down ideas helps in bringing clarity to the thought process. Now many a times when we are just conversing, maybe we are not very sure of the idea, or many a times we might be in such an emotion that we are unable to communicate well. So what we should do? We should write our ideas. Many students I know, they have a habit of writing the diary also, which is a very good habit. It helps us bring clarity in our minds. It is a means of saving information for later reference. We can use it later, the written part. Writing also creates a permanent documentation, very important, available for ready reference anytime. Textbooks, financial statements, minutes of meetings. Now what is minutes of meetings? See, this is how you will be able to use the writing skills when you are working as a chartered accountant. You will attend meetings, you will attend a lot of corporate meetings, wherein at the end of the meeting, all the important points discussed in the meetings are written down, which is called minutes of meetings. So those minutes of meetings, you cannot write in bad language. You have to write it at least in a very basic, proper manner. So those minutes of meeting is also preserved for later reference. Knowledge creation and propagation happens largely through carefully documented research procedures and their outcomes. Now creating knowledge and propagation means promoting it. Now if you create knowledge and you want to promote it, that also you can do through writing it down, through maintaining research papers and distributing it in various social media forms. It is the most used form of official communication. Whenever the communication is official, it is written down. It is documented. Maybe it is written by hand on paper, or it might be written in mails. More and more companies are looking for people with good communication skills. Now, in this era of technology and in this era of competition, many people have very good communication skills. So you have to have very good communication skills, be it writing, be it reading out, be it public speaking, so that you can give a good competition to the people outside in the world. Now we come to steps for writing. Selecting a topic. So the first step for good writing is selecting a topic. Now how do you select a topic? The process of writing begins by selecting a topic for writing. The selection may be made by a teacher, a manager, or by the writer himself or herself. So for now, when you will be writing in the examination, you will be given few topics and you have to select your own topic. Now on what basis will you select the topic? The first step is to have an idea, theme, issue or any subject matter clearly stated. Now when you will select the topic, you will always select the topic on which you have a clear idea, or you have some ideas, some points, some experiences about that topic. So you'll always select that topic about which you have an idea. Brainstorming. Now, whenever we read about a topic, it's not that you will get all the points, all the ideas instantly. You will brainstorm. You'll think about the topic. You will start recollecting experiences. You'll think about the topic in a way when you have read about it, you've heard about it, or you have had experiences about that topic. So the next step is to brainstorm. Once you know the topic, you have to write on. Random thoughts, ideas, information related to it begins to crowd your mind. Now when you'll start thinking, a lot of thoughts will come to your mind. You may also search for content related to the topic. Now if you're not in the exam, you can also search online about the topic. Note down all the points that come up. Whenever you are brainstorming, just in a very 2-3 word short phrases, just start noting down those ideas so that you do not miss the idea when you're organizing and collecting the points and starting writing. Organizing your content. Now, after you have jotted down all the points, you have to organize your content. Now, how will you do that? This is the framework on which your written work stands. First, make a list of the main subpoints you wish to include. Thereafter, put all the subject matter that can be included in that point under the subheading. So, first of all, you will have a topic to write. Now, in that main topic, you would be having some subtopics. Now in the subtopics, you will be writing some paragraphs, some important sentences, some lines about those subtopics. Next, decide the sequence or order of the points. Very important. You have to write the points in a very sequential manner so that the reader can connect. he can see that the piece of writing is going in a sequential manner and not haywire. Creating a diagram or outline helps you organize your ideas properly. You can also create a diagram. Some graphic examples are as follows. So first diagram you can see, the ray diagram. What you can do is you write the main topic here, you write the main topic in between, and whatever subtopics you gather in your mind, you can just recollect, you just start writing like this. This will help you to collect subtopics, collect ideas on the main topic. Sequential form, you can also do one thing, you can start listing down the points in the sequential form. List the sequence in which you want to present the content. Comparison and contrast, list the similarities and dissimilarities or advantages and disadvantages in different columns. Now many a times you get such a topic on which you have to state the disadvantages and advantages. For example, if you're asked, state the disadvantages and advantages of the internet in the modern world. So you will write internet as the main topic and you will start writing advantages in one column and disadvantages in one column. And just note down short phrases or points. You can just try to frame sentences and start writing. Problem and solution, state the problem or problems and the recommendations to solve it or them. So first you will write about the problem and then you will give your suggestions to solve the problem. Next, cause and effect. Suppose a topic is given to you wherein it is asked about state causes of situation and its various effects separately. So what you will write? First you will state the problem. First you will describe the problem, then you will tell about the cause of the problem, why is that problem happening, and then you will start writing its effects. Now next you will start writing. After all the diagrammatic representations, you will finally start writing. The most important step is writing, the choice of words, an interesting beginning of the article. Now after this chapter we will start writing articles also. There I will tell you how to start the article in a very interesting manner. Whenever, see, now if you watch a movie, the movie starts with a very good beginning, you will have an interest to watch more. Now if the movie starts in a boring manner, you won't want to watch it more. You will feel that the movie is boring. It might happen that the movie is interesting later, but in the first 5 minutes only you lost the interest in the movie. So in that same manner, if your article begins very boringly, the reader will not take interest in reading the whole thing in a very enthusiastic manner. You have to catch the attention of the reader in the first paragraph only, in the first 2-3 lines. Framing of suitable sentences, division of paragraphs. Now your sentences have to be very suitable, have to be not very long, not very short, have to be grammatically very correct. And division of paragraphs. Now an essay should have approximately 3 to 4 paragraphs. Inclusion of anecdotes. What are anecdotes? Anecdotes are short stories. And dialogues and use of illustrations and examples. Now, when you start writing in a very boring manner and you do not include any anecdotes, you do not include any quotes, then the reader knows that you do not have much idea about the topic. You are just going on writing whatever is coming to your mind. Instead of that, you have to collect quotes, you have to collect a lot of short stories, you have to collect dialogues, you have to make it a very interesting plot like a movie. Decide whether your written content makes an impact on your readers. You have to make an impact on the reader. This is time consuming and laborious task. Obviously, this is time consuming, so you get that much time in the exam. You write, delete and rewrite before the final product is ready. Now, what happens when you're giving the exam, you will not get so much of time as to write, delete, rewrite. So what you do is you start practicing from now. When you're watching the lectures or you're practicing how to write, you start writing on a lot of topics, and that practice will help you write very well in the examinations. Next, after you finish writing, what you do is revising. Give yourself a break before you revise your text. Now everything you've written, you've given your best shot. Take 2 to 3 minutes, relax. Now start reading your essay again. This gives you a fresh perspective and an enhanced ability to notice errors. You have to notice your errors as well. At this stage, you can add or delete content, reorganize matter, and improve upon certain sections of your work. Now, when you're revising, if you want to cut somewhere, you want to make the sentence more grammatically more correct, or you want to edit some parts, that you can do. Editing and proofreading. Now, what is proofreading? Proofreading means reading it so that you can notice errors and correct them. Once text is ready, it is time to proofread for spelling, grammar, punctuation, and sentence structure errors. Now, as it is the English language and you have to use the writings in formal communication, so there is no scope of leaving any grammatical errors behind. So you have to proofread it so that you submit your writing in a very, very errorless form. This can be done by an expert in the field. So do not worry, you will not get an expert to proofread your thing. You have to do it yourself. Now, publishing and printing. Now, once the final document is ready, it can be sent for printing, put out on website for readers, or be used as a resource document. That will happen when you start working for firms. Thank you so much everyone for hearing me out, and I'm very confident that I would be able to help students in this subject in the best manner I can.